Well, we've got another interesting spring surprise here. It's really been an eventful start to the spring. We had 30 inches of snow and could barely get back into our house. Just about everybody was sick. I, as usual, kind of got the worst of it and was basically stuck in bed for about 48 hours. And then finally got feeling good enough to be able to help my wife with a brand new baby who was born just shortly after I was able to get myself up off of the couch and actually start moving around again. And now we've got the worst ice storm that we have ever seen here. Seems like about every 30 seconds or so we have a tree snapping or a limb snapping and falling off somewhere. They've been crashing all over throughout the woods. We had one come down and sort of strum the high lines like a couple guitar strings, which was interesting to watch. And somewhere in there, I had decided to move my car, which was parked here, and then one of my favorite birch trees came crashing down right basically where it was parked. It was one side, the other side was over here, so I was definitely glad to get that out of the way. And I'm glad that the power lines didn't come down, at least not yet, but we do have a couple trees kind of bent over on them, which is I think probably why we lost power a couple hours ago. It's about 32-ish degrees. We've got kind of rain coming down now, and I'm not sure when we're actually going to get the power back on, and if we do, I'm not sure that it's going to stay on very long, but it is getting a little bit cold in the house, so we've got our gas fireplace on, which just runs all the time. But the biggest problem, or one of the biggest problems, especially with the kids, is that when we don't have power, we don't have water, because our well is powered by electricity. Or I suppose more accurately, we'll have water until that little gauge reads 0. Because back when the power was still working, it was pressurizing this tank. But once we use enough water and that drops down, well, then we don't have any water. Finally got all your snow melted and now everything's covered nice. You don't care, do you? You're always a happy girl. Our trees, on the other hand, here are not so happy. You eating ice off of the lines? Don't do that. I'd gotten a message earlier from Wisconsin Public Service that said we were supposed to get power back somewhere around 10:30 and that they were sending people out. And it looks like now when I check the map that they do have a crew on site, but it no longer says that they're going to be done at 10:30. And like I said before, with the rain that's still falling a little bit and the fact that we're not going to get above 32 degrees until sometime tomorrow, my guess is there'll probably be a lot more trees down. So if they get the lines fixed or whatever's wrong fixed and they get the trees off the lines, hopefully we don't have a bunch more come back right down on them and make us lose power again tomorrow. So I guess we'll just see how things go. I'm gonna have to get my one saw charged up and the other one gassed up and ready to go, because I think I'm gonna have my work cut out for me. Whoops. Ooh, worried that wasn't going to be hot. That's nice and warm. Sometime in the night, I lost a limb off of another one of my favorite birch trees. I'm not going to have any white birches left to look at. We basically laid in bed listening to what sounded like gunshots one after another, which of course wasn't. It was limbs snapping off of trees, and man, does that make a loud noise. And boy, it was just continual. Nobody was really too cold. Mom swaddled the baby and kept her warm. The kids were in sleeping bags, and I kept them plenty warm. It's only like 32 out here, and I guess it's actually probably warming up to, it's supposed to get to 38, I think. So they should all disappear, I would think, by the end of the day. But I'm not sure when they're going to get the power back on. I guess we'll see. We're going to finish my coffee here and then probably just head into town so we have electricity and running water and everything. We have drinking water still because we have a separate pressure tank for that. But the water for washing hands and flushing toilets and that sort of thing ran out late last night. So I figure we might as well head into town. Pretty crazy, huh, you Dawn? Nice doggy, aren't you? Yeah, what a good girl. What a good girl you are. Well, slight change of plans. It turns out we've actually got power. I came in to tell everybody I was ready to go and to put this away. And when I went to look inside, the lights were on in the kitchen. So I guess maybe I'll actually get some work done here today. I suppose we'll have to see. Work besides cutting that tree up, that is, which I suppose I still need to do so we have a place to turn around in the driveway. I've actually been meaning to do a gas versus electric chainsaw video anyway, since I've got both and I've been using both for quite a few years now. So I guess at least maybe I'll be able to get a little bit of footage for that and give you guys a little bit of hopefully interesting footage. Hopefully not too interesting though. What you doing there, kitty cat? You're gonna be the strangest cat I'll ever have. Meow.
I'm glad that we have power.
I'm very glad that we have power.
Because we could have died of thirst.
We could have died of thirst. I think we would have figured something out before we died of thirst, buddy. What is the temperature in here? 57. Well, that's not even that cold. Nice warm fire going. It's actually really nice in here. Mom's got her nice warm socks on. She's covered in dog hair. She's got a little baby. Looks like we're back up to near 40 PSI for water pressure, so should be able to flush the toilets and use the sinks. Suppose we can finally get the dishwasher going. Much better. I actually really like black coffee. I prefer a cup like that once in a while, but can't beat, what is it when you put steamed milk in with a single shot? A latte. Can you see me in the camera, bud? Am I in the frame?
Not all of you.
Well, no, but see me though, right? I'm not too far over here.
Yes, you are. No.
How about now? Good? That's good. Okay. Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
What do you think of the ice storm?
Pretty crazy.
Pretty crazy, it is. So, I suppose we'll finish my coffee here, get some coffee jitters going, and then go try and use a saw. Come on, Swanky cat. Alright, looks like our battery's all charged up for the Greenworks Pro. Get that outside. And I suppose technically we still need some bar and chain oil, even though it's an electric saw. And for the Husqvarna, we need some premix, which, to be fair, is probably older than my oldest child. But when you don't use it a whole lot, it's just kind of how it goes. So yesterday I was a little bit afraid to walk into the woods at all. It seems like most of the ice is gone now, so we can take a little bit of a closer look at what happened here. And boy, this thing just came right apart at the base. You can see here there really wasn't much good wood left here. A lot of this was rotted out and dead. Did also leave a nice big hole in the ground and rip a few roots out. It's a pretty massive tree. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 57 or 58 maybe. Definitely a rather large tree. I think the Greenworks saw here is a 18-inch. I was actually gonna say 16. But we've got an 18-inch bar on this one. And that's gonna be pretty close to maxing this thing out. And of course that segment is only so long, and then it splits off into two fairly large sections here, which are I guess substantially smaller than the main trunk, but still definitely going to take a bit of effort to get through. The other saw I'm going to be using here is actually out of date now. I think they've got a Mark III instead, but it's a Husqvarna 120 Mark III. I think it's actually made by somebody else, and Husqvarna just puts their name on it. I'm not really sure why, because in my experience it's been nothing but junk. The Greenworks, I think I paid just a penny under 250. The Husqvarna, I think, was like 180 or just maybe a hair below that. I think the new comparable version is somewhere around 250 probably. We'll get these things fueled up and started up, and we'll get to cutting and see how they do. The Greenworks, all we got to do is drop the battery in here, and I do just have a single battery, so we'll start with this one, see how far we get. We've got a little bit of bar oil in there, but I think we'll top that off. Alright, and right off the bat, one of the things that I like most about this saw is there's no pulling or choking or anything required. You just push the battery in place, hit the on button, and as long as you've got it charged up, it's ready to go. No, that is as long as you don't have the brake locked. So, let's see how far we get on the one battery. And feel free to criticize, but do not copy anything that I do, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just a dude who lives in the woods and has a saw and hasn't cut himself apart yet. So let's hope that can continue. I suppose the right thing to do would be to get an actual logger's face shield and helmet and whatever, but I don't really cut down that many trees. However, these things, as nice as they were for keeping everything out of your eyes, get fogged up pretty quickly. Down a bar already. Certainly not all that much wood cutting, but there's quite a few cuts. Plenty to do yet, so I think we might have to get the gas one going at some point here. I can't believe that ice is all still out here like this. It's hilarious. What's not hilarious is it sounds like we're going to have more freezing rain tonight, so I'm not sure what that's going to mean. I guess we'll see what happens and how long we have our power for. This thing will automatically shut off too to conserve battery, which is nice. I really would not have expected this, but it seems like the chain on here is really a lot better quality than the one, the Husqvarna 2. It feels like I'm always sharpening that one. This one, I don't know if I've ever had to sharpen. Of course, this is a bad example because it's birch and it's nice and soft, but even still with the hardwood that I've cut with it, it's definitely noticeably better. Anybody know that song by Jackal? Yikes. That's another nice thing about one of these. If you fall over, You have to accidentally hit this and engage the trigger in order for it to turn on. Which I suppose technically you could still accidentally do, but it does seem like a good idea. Now it looks like we're getting down there, 1 bar. And while of course it could be a lot better, and while it definitely would be nice to have a second battery, this is still a pretty decent amount of wood cutting so far. Rain tonight, not now. Oh, that's it. In a case of the death beeps going on, dead battery. Probably not a bad thing to get this out of the rain. Lithium-ion batteries and water can equal fire, so I guess we'll take this thing in, dry it off, and get it on the charger. Suppose I've got plenty of cleaning up to do in the meantime. There's really quite a few cuts. Definitely would be nice to have that spare battery to throw in here now, but it's really not too bad. And now I wanted to tell you guys that one of the things that I really like about this saw is that it's really not very loud, especially in comparison to a 2-stroke gas saw. But now today, the more I was thinking about it, it does almost tickle my ears a little bit. So the right thing to do would, I think, definitely be to wear hearing protection when you're using any type of power tool, I suppose. But I've got to say, I do like the fact that when you're not actually on the gas on the electric saw, it's just completely quiet. A regular saw, I mean, I guess you can usually hear just about everything you need to, but I don't know, just the ability to only have it running and making noise when you're actually making the cut is really just kind of nice, especially if you're working around possible trees that might fall on you or whatever else. It's just kind of nice not to always have that constant noise going. So get this thing out of here. Hey there, Swanky Cat. What are you up to? Hiding in your little box? Yeah, so it seems like most of the water is just on the top there that was exposed, but there is a little bit of water here and there. It's probably not the greatest thing for it, so that certainly is a little bit of a downfall. Store indoors and do not expose to rain or water. I wonder if that means that this has basically no IP rating, and I suppose it doesn't. I mean, you can see all the infiltration points. There's plenty of spots where water can get in there, so probably a good thing that it ran out and I brought it in. Let's go get the gas one going. Press that 6 times. Pull that out. While that warms up, I am going to stick some headphones in. Edifier actually sent me these a long time ago to review, and they actually were supposed to send me a different set, and I reviewed those, and I don't think I actually ever reviewed these. But the Edifier headphones, which are now probably out of date, they're the little in-earbud ones, are really very nice, actually. They're, I mean, quite a few years old now, and they always seem to work really well. Plug your ears nice for stuff like this. I don't know how safe they are from a sound blocking perspective, but they really work nice, other than the fact that the button is actually like kind of a touchscreen style thing, or a touch button. It's not an actual click. I don't know if it's my hair brushing up against it or what, but sometimes they'll pause when they're not supposed to be pausing. But anyways, sorry it took me so long out of fire. I really do like these though, and I'll put a link for something comparable down in the description. They sound really nice. They actually have pretty good bass, and I like them a lot. They really last quite a while too. I don't know what that saw is doing. That doesn't sound right, but I am surprised that started that easily. It looks like it's a little bit more like sawdust than it does wood chips, so I'll sharpen this quick. There's one thing I've learned about chainsaws over the years, it's that it is a lot faster to stop and sharpen the chain than it is to try to cut with a dull one. I have also figured out the hard way that you always want to move the chain in a way that if you slip, you're not going the same way that the blade's cut. That was all of them. Now, we probably are out of gas, but honestly I don't really care. I'm pretty sure the saw is charged. Yep, this thing is completely charged and ready to go. I don't know how long that was. Maybe a little bit more than an hour. I kind of doubt it. Watch how fast this rips through in comparison. Yeah, this definitely is making much better wood particles. There's a little bit of sawdust, but mostly it's shavings. So that's going to make a huge difference in how much input the saw has to actually give. But even still, it seems like that Husqvarna just doesn't have enough power. It just gets hung up all the time. Well, I've got the parking spot cleaned up at least. The rest of it is just going to have to wait. I am way too wiped out from that. Look at this pile of ice, though. This is just ridiculous. This is all just from those branches. If it wasn't all full of twigs, I could make a drink with it. I dragged the vast majority of the small stuff just into a pile in the woods, and my plan was to put all of this big stuff, the actual firewood size stuff, in the bed of the truck here. But like I said, I am just way too wiped out. I don't know if I'm still just not completely recovered from being sick a couple weeks ago, or if it's just the fact that I'm old now. I feel like I used to be able to just come out here and just tackle whatever project I wanted, and I would never have to leave things for the next day or a different day or whatever. I could just pound it all out and get it done. But now, man, I don't know. I'm feeling definitely weak and old, and I suppose it's just been a long time since I've done anything like this, where I used to be out here all the time clearing trails and cutting stuff up and making firewood. But boy, my back hurts. I need to go sit down and take a rest and get something to eat and get something to drink. Hopefully tonight's an easy night and we don't have a bunch more trees coming down and losing power and losing water, and what a mess. So I'm going to get the vehicles parked in a safer location, so if we have trees come down, hopefully they don't land on them, and then go in and help my wife with the kids, and then probably go to bed. Coming in. It's raining out here, and it is a bit frozen looking. Not quite like yesterday, though. Definitely some trees still bending over quite a ways. What are you doing? Crazy dog, huh? Crazy dog. Hey, get out! Where's your buddy? Huh? Where's Gina? She stayed in? You're just out here enjoying the sound of the ice falling off? Birds are too. They're eating the sumac berries. Had a bluebird on there yesterday. What are you doing? Eating ice off the deck? You silly. Ian, get down! You're gonna knock my coffee off. I worked hard for that. So I think it's supposed to get up to like 40 some degrees. It's got to be somewhere above 32 now because everything's falling, and I guess I thought there was some rain. Was there not rain when I walked out here? It's not raining anymore. But yeah, things are definitely melting off, so that's good. We've got power, we've got heat, and we've got water, so that's all good. My son did wake me up in the middle of the night at some point. I guess I don't know what time it was because we didn't have electricity, and he was unhappy that we didn't have any light. So I defined him one of our little egg lights, and then he was happy and was able to go back to bed. And then I was able to go back to bed, and then my wife let me sleep in until, I don't know what time, like 11 o'clock or something. My back is really killing me, and I had a hard time falling asleep last night. I was up pretty late, and I've got a chiropractor appointment, my very first chiropractor appointment ever, actually. My wife's been after me for about 10 years to go. I've got my first one on Monday, and apparently that's going to be well timed because I've got some pretty bad lower back pain going on from all that. Ooh, that's good. It's a little bit slippery out here, huh? You done? Definitely not looking forward to picking all that up, nor am I looking forward to picking up any of the other stuff that fell throughout the rest of my little mini trail system out there. But hopefully we'll get it cleaned up someday. We'll be able to get back into the woods. I'm actually really looking forward to hopefully getting a place someday where I've got a really nice test track that I can run the little electric dirt bikes that it seems like I'm going to start to be getting and testing. And of course the dual sport motorcycles as well. And maybe even just the regular e-bikes too. It would be really slick to build a track. I'd actually really like to buy a whole bunch of land and then pay somebody to help myself put some trails in it, and then open it up to the public. I've always thought we needed that around here, and I suppose we've got it sort of in Tigerton, but it's always good to have options. So, we'll see. Probably never happen, but you never know. There's a lot of things that rattle around in there for a while, and then someday eventually they happen. So I guess we'll just have to see. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my coffee here and listen to the rest of the ice fall off the trees, and hopefully this will be the last of the ridiculous, weird spring weather, and we can just get on to regular spring and eventually get to summer and get out and do some riding. So here's to that. It is still really pretty. Well, the kids and I already spent quite a bit of time out here picking sticks up before it got windy, and I've still got quite the mess to clean up here. Got a couple trails that are usable, but the majority of them are covered in rather large branches. So this is definitely going to take a couple days worth of cleanup. Get this all cut up and moved out of the way. Just limbs everywhere. Got the happy run out, putting a few more miles on that, got it up to about 50. Also trying to break these MSR gloves in that are still giving me a little bit of pain on my knuckles, but not too terrible today. Still got a bit of snow out here and there. Just a ridiculous amount of stuff that fell down up here. It's all pretty big too. Some of this has been here a while, like that big branch or treetop or whatever it was, but boy, this is gonna take some cleaning. Oh yeah, look at this. Yikes. Wow. What a mess. This is how living in the woods goes, though. There's always something to do around here, and if you got trails, well, that means you got to maintain trails. And after the winter and after all the snow and ice and everything, I guess I really shouldn't expect too much else. But this year, and actually I was looking at pictures from last year, both of these spring seasons have been kind of rough, but you never know, just how it goes. I love being in the woods, and I guess I could use some exercise, so now I've got some weights to lift, I guess. Wood weights. Definitely still a good life and a great place to be. Super thankful to be here, and super thankful to you guys for watching and supporting. If you enjoyed this type of video, definitely let me know down in the comment section. Otherwise, take care, stay safe, stay swanky. I suppose you could hit the like button too. Get out here and enjoy this beautiful world God created for us to explore and enjoy any chance you get. And if you can't do that right now, here's more videos to check out. In the meantime, God bless. We'll catch you on the next one.